I'm here today in Cappagh townland as part of the audit of the holy wells of the County of Galway, and I'm at Tobar Croise Naofa, which is the holy well here. It's on the slopes of Slieve Dart. It's about 3 kilometres from Dunmore town and about equidistant to the Roscommon border. And it's a very well kept site. It's very important to the local community, this holy well, and the different features that are around the well. This well, although it's known as Tobar na Croise Naofa, is also associated with St. Patrick and can be known as St. Patrick's well. And the local folklore will tell us that St. Patrick was either on his way to or on his way back from Croagh Patrick when he stopped here and blessed the well. So whichever way he was going, he's certainly associated with a couple of different sites around this area. He's associated with ecclesiastical site at Kilteevna and also in Dunmore. And about 2 kilometres east of here, there's a townland called Shrule. And there's a stone where he's believed to have knelt down to pray, and he left the mark of his knees in that stone. So that stone is known as St. Patrick's Stone, and it's believed he used the water within it to baptise people there. There's also a townland called Listoff, which is north of here. And locally, that townland is named as Lurrock. And it's believed that it comes from the Irish word for rushes called lucra. And the story goes that St. Patrick was being jeered by people. And locally, it'll be said the people were from County Mayo. And that St. Patrick got quite agitated and he eventually cursed them. And then he regretted that he had cursed these people. So on his way through Listoff, he decided he had to get rid of the curse and transfer it to something else. So he transferred it to the rushes in the field. And that's why the rushes were cursed and the townland then became known as Lucra. So whatever the stories are, the local folklore is great to fill in the details of these holy sites. And what I'm going to do now today is meet some local people here, and we're going to explore the features of the site and hear the stories from the local residents. I'm here with Mary Burke from Cappagh, and Mary, thank you very much for coming along today. And Mary's very familiar with this holy well site and is going to tell us a few things about it, aren't you, Mary?
Yes.
So, what can you tell us?
Well, St. Patrick's Holy Well here in Cappagh has been a destination for pilgrims, many seeking solace, some healing, and indeed others often come back to give thanks for favours granted. So Patron Sunday or Garland Sunday is celebrated in Ireland most places, and they all seem to follow the same type of ritual. The healing power of the water is more potent on Patron Day, but the last Sunday in July is the day where most of those pilgrimages take place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people will come here, as you said, on Garland Sunday to do the traditional pattern at the site.
Yes.
And this is the well that they will come to. And
Yes.
was there a rag tree here, Mary?
Yes. As we can see, we had storm damage and backlash. We lost a lot of trees even over there. And I'm afraid this one has collapsed. But we are so lucky that we have this ash tree overlooking the well here.
Okay. So tradition would be that people would come and tie
Come
rags.
and tie rags, or they'd leave coins and even medals left along the little steps here, probably praying to St. Patrick. And some are across there where the altar is. And over here at the second well, there's often coins in the water. We're told that this was a vestry for the priests, but more locals say it was where baptisms took place as it's built over water.
Okay. So Mary, we've just come up now from the Holy Well up to this area that's known as the altar locally. And believe that this area up here has been identified historically as the site of a very early church, but of which there's nothing really left. But this new structure is here now. So can you tell me about this, Mary?
Yes. Every year on Garland Sunday or Patron Sunday, we have our annual gathering here where we do the rounds and Mass is celebrated. We're very lucky to have Father Fergal. He's the parish priest in Dunmore, and he's very supportive of this. We also have Father Sean. He lives over in Gurtnalee. He's a retired priest, and he also comes. So we're really very lucky.
Great. So you have a great community that come here and celebrate this holy site and gather together and have mass, have a bit of fun then I'm sure afterwards and a bit of park together. Lovely. So,
Lovely.
and I read a little bit in the school's manuscripts collection from a pupil in the local school, and she recorded a man called Mr. Tierney, who was born in 1848, so just after the famine. And he wrote about the people that used to come here on Pattern Day, how far they used to come and how they used to come. And they used to come from miles around. It was one of the most important pilgrimage sites in Connacht. And they came by jaunting car, they came on donkey, they came by train to Claremorris and walked on foot to this place here on Garland Sunday. So it was huge.
Yeah, well, my grandfather, who basically lived up there, he was a gamekeeper, top of the mountain. He remembers coming down here, and after the religious part was over, he said the festivities would start, and people from the town, particularly a shop called Moran's, they came up and they set up stalls, and they would have dancing there, and there would be a piper, and there would always be a little hollow made in the ground in front of the piper, and you were supposed to drop a coin in if you enjoyed his music. But one night, this officer and his groom, I presume, from the local RIC barracks arrived out. Now, they would not have been liked at the time, but everybody was very polite to them. And then he asked a local girl to dance, and seemingly she danced with them throughout the night. And at the end of the night, then he thanked her for her courtesy and the courtesy shown to both of them. And he handed her half a sovereign. And then she said, "Oh, no, I do not want the sovereign. The piper gets the sovereign." And she went back and she dropped the sovereign, the half sovereign, into the little hollow on the ground in front of the piper. And the story is the next day, the local landlord contacted her family and said, due to their daughter's generosity of spirit, they could have their land free for half a year.
Because Mr. Tierney, again, in the school's manuscript says that there was poaching, there was faction fighting, and that's why the pattern kind of died in the late 1800s.
As he used to say, the fellas from Mayo, now Mayo was only down there a couple of 100 yards, they would come and he'd say there'd be faction fights. But he used to say, but they were harmless faction fights. Right. Meaning, I think, put on a bit of a show.
Yeah.
Probably all joined afterwards in the poaching, drinking and the dancing.
So the boring is the 1930s, I think. It cuts the site in two.
At that time, there was an awful lot of young men around Ireland out of work. There was these work schemes set up, and Pat Coleman was the ganger on this, and the men were paid 4 shillings per day, and every so often they would need a horse or a horse and cart. So there would be a lot of people kind of trying to get in to get their horse and cart, because the day you were allowed to bring a horse and cart, you got 9 shillings. So they worked 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, and got 4 shillings per day, which is approximately 150 in today's
money.
Terms.
Yeah. That's great, Anne. Thank you for all that information. You're a mine of information altogether. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So I'm joined here now by Lorraine McTighe, who's from a nearby townland of Cloonkeen. And Lorraine, you are well familiar here with the Pattern Day at Tobar Naomha and what goes on. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, well, Zina, my earliest memories would have been coming out here with my grandmother in the late 80s. And we live, as you said, in the neighbouring village, Cloonkeen. So we would say our prayers with our grandmother and do the rounds and make the crosses.
Can you say doing the rounds now? Can you show me how the rounds were done here?
Yeah.
How you did the rounds at
Absolutely,
the well?
yeah. So, Zina, when we get to this part, then we make a cross, sign of the cross with the stone. We do it 3 times. And then we walk on.
So there's 3 crosses there, Lorraine.
3 crosses.
And each are done
Yeah.
cross, and then you move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, Lauren. I'm just going to go on down here now and talk to a few others from the community who've gathered. So I'm joined here by Kathy Hughes. Thanks very much, Kathy, for coming along.
Thank you.
And Kathy, you visit this well very often, don't you?
Yeah,
for different reasons.
Yeah, it's very healing, very peaceful place to come to.
When the pattern is on and the people have done their rounds around the well and around the penitential station, you go to the well
And everyone gets little bottles of holy water and bring them home, and they bless themselves with it. And
okay.
people believe that it can heal them and stuff as well.
Okay,
You know, different ailments and stuff as well.
So you get the cure from the
cure,
water.
yeah, from the holy water, yeah.
And then when Passion Day is on and after that's all done, you sit down as a community.
We do,
and
yeah, we
gather
have gather
around
and
here.
cups of tea and
Cups of tea and a bit of fun.
chit chat and
Yeah.
a
And
bit
nice
of crack and
music
music and
is
music
played.
blended in
Yeah.
as well. Then
So you've a
nice
local-
touch
Okay.
going home.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Kathy, for that
welcome, Zina. Yeah.
information, and lovely to be here. Thank you very much.
Thanks.